So this is Natali. We've been really close friends for a very long time. His fascination is Hyundai Genesis.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So this was the no, this is the second one, right?
This is like the third or the fourth one, honestly.
I thought this was the second one.
This was the second one I had in my possession. The others
So
were
yeah,
like
because this is
over
the
in
one that we
Tampa.
met on.
Yeah, I bought that one, and then this was the one. The second one was the LS swap.
That's right. Yeah.
That one's still at my mom's house. But this one, uh, I actually bought it after I bought the black and white car. But I had an engine picked out for this one already up in North Carolina. I met a guy that actually had a fully built 2-liter engine, crank, bearings, rods, pistons, cams, and it was like fresh head gasket. And me and a buddy actually drove overnight to North Carolina to scoop that and bring it back down here to Florida. And I immediately started trying to find a shell for the engine. I didn't want to put it in that one just because I couldn't get a title for it yet. So I found this one on Facebook Marketplace and actually met the guy at his house and had a tow truck called out there to bring it back 2 hours to the house here. And unlike all the other ones, this one I pretty much done completely on my own. It's ripped apart right now, but I got this done in about 6 months. It's got a GT 3582R. It's only tuned on like 20 pounds of boost right now. Billet intake, billet fuel rail, big fuel pump, big intercooler radiator. Like this thing is to the T's. I'm trying to hit about 800 horsepower on it, but we're lacking on fuel. So right now it's just like daily drive and upkeep. But this thing is a fun car.
And this is the manifold that he had custom made through a company that he found in Malaysia. Right? Was it Malaysia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
CNC Innovations.
So you guys can see it right there, CNC. This is a full billet, and you can kind of see in
I
the
think it's like
marks here.
6063 or 6065 billet aluminum.
Yeah, and you can see where it's been machined because, I mean, he does a really good job over there. And majority of the pricing that he gives us is mainly just for shipping, which is crazy. But
I still get letters for an import fee on one of them through FedEx, but FedEx is just one of those companies that does that.
yeah, but he did a really good job on that, and just like the hole that I showed you, like he thought ahead. Like even these back here, like he made spots for more upgrades in case he wanted to do it, and I was really impressed with it. We talked about getting the manifold done for the Mustang through that company,
Yeah.
but the import fee was insane. It's not worth it in my opinion, but
yeah, you pretty much start with sending him like a stock manifold, and you go back and forth until he gets something that works. This is still one of the earlier designs, but I decided to stop it there while I work on getting the stainless manifold fabricated up for it. And I got a whole exhaust system to go on it. I just got to get a downpipe fabbed with a new turbo setup to be able to get this thing up to full power. Right now, it's mostly just a grocery getter, but she gets those groceries quick.
and then so this is the manifold he's putting in there. Now it's not super pretty. I mean, welds are pretty. This is what, just like a test manifold from what's his name?
Yeah, I forgot the guy that I got it from, but this thing is supposedly capable of handling some real power. I've got some questions about it, but we've already got another manifold in the works for it. But this will definitely be a lot better than those cast manifolds. Right now I'm rocking the Excelodyne top mount turbo kit, so this will definitely be a lot better flow.
Yeah, he also picked up this tile from a guy up in Palm Coast. Secondhand. It's a pretty good buy for what he got it for. How much was it again?
I got it for $100. That was a steal, man. And I was literally thinking like, oh, we could meet up tomorrow. And he was like, no, man, no worries. I would love to come meet with you tonight and get your car running. So, like, that was a steal. And it's got barely any miles on it. It's practically a new wastegate. I decided to order a rebuild kit for it, so that'll be coming real soon, too. I like these things running in tip-top shape.
Yeah, so he's got that going. But at the same time, he's trying to get this fitted to it. And believe it or not, this is from Amazon. It's pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, some of the suppliers on a lot of the generic like Garrett turbo parts, a lot of it's gonna be garbage, but sometimes you'll find something that works. With like these off-brand turbos, I mean, they blow so frequently, but they're so cheap. So it's like, you could splurge on the big money for like a nice Garrett one, but if you're just putting them on like quick builds, burning them up, doing races and dogging them out, like the cheaper ones aren't too bad.
Yeah, like if you're not trying to push like fucking 40 pounds of boost through this thing, then
Yeah,
you'll
no,
be
yeah.
alright. Now, his issue he's running into is that this flange right here isn't quite fitting. So, he's going to have to contact a machine shop to see if it'd be possible to expand this just a little bit to fit it. Now, if they can't, then I guess he'll have to figure it out, but that's just where he's at, which is pretty cool. Now, this one was what was on it, right?
Yeah, that's the Excelodyne top mount turbo kit and a GT3582 from Arashi. She's put out some good power. Right now the car sits at like 15 to 20 pounds, right around like 450. But man, it takes a long time to get that spool going. Really, it's not a 0 to 60 car, it's more like a 60 to 120 car. Because when the boost starts kicking in, you're already in like the mid to high range RPMs. But it can build a lot of power.
So this is the 3.8, right?
No, this is the 2.0T. This one's the 3.8. And then that one's another big turbo 2.0T.
So this 2.0 came with the Brembo set?
Yeah, all our spec and track editions on the Gen Coupes come with the Brembos. I think it's like either 4 or 6 piston fronts, 4 piston rears, or 2 piston rears. Yeah, they're not crazy, but they definitely handle some braking.
Gotta love Pickle Rick.
Dude, he's been my passenger princess for years now. And lately this summer, dude, the kids really love Pickle Rick. There hasn't been a place I've gone where people aren't screaming like, "It's Pickle Rick!" everywhere I go. It's kind of funny. I might get a vanity plate that says pickle on it.
Just change that to Pickle.
Yeah, that's what I was planning to. I don't know. I have a lot of ambitions for this car, dude.
Yeah, just PKL RCK.
Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick. Now this thing has some exhaust on it. It's got a carbon built-in duckbill trunk.
Yeah, VIS carbon trunk, ISR full exhaust. It's not very loud right now because there's a giant muffler. It's I think it's the street exhaust, but I'm gonna take the exhaust off of that. It's the ISR race exhaust, straight 3-inch pipes, dual outlets. This thing will be pretty loud after we get the 2-step dialed in. This thing will be cool.
Yeah.
Got a few more steps. Got to get the turbo on. Got to get the new short shifter assembly and new bushings in there. And then I've been sitting on some coils for this thing for a long time. I want to get it like all dialed in on the engine bay before I really slam it to the ground and take it to a shop to get it tuned. It's been a lot of work, dude, but it's coming together.
Yeah, he's been building these in his off time for the last, 2-3 years?
These two right here for about 2 years.
Yeah, and that one, while you were building these, you were waiting for that one.
Yeah, that one was up in Tampa for like 2 years.
From, was it English Performance?
English Touch Performance.
English
yeah.
Touch.
One of the least recommendable shops in this side of the country. That thing was sent off for originally a transmission job, and then I got talked into doing a bunch of experimental internal upgrades on it. It's got the first set of cams through MT Motorsports, Wiseco pistons, JE rods, ACL bearings all the way through, ARP studs all the way through, and I think it's got a 6266 precision turbo strap to it. they just missed a lot of things, and I've been trying to get it back to where it needs to be for like the past year. Right now, I'm working on wiring, new ECU, and trying to plan out a new twin turbo kit rather than the single turbo.
Twin turbo would be insane.
Yeah, the frame on this thing is tweaked pretty bad, so like the next step would definitely be like taking it to either like a body shop to get it straightened out, or chopping the whole front end and tubing it out to be able to get everything dialed in perfectly. Because right around like 140 miles an hour, this thing pulls heavily to the left, and when we put 1,000 horsepower out of this engine, it's gonna be a crazy ride. Right now, I'm waiting on the transmission, the T56 Magnum XL from Travis over at MT Motorsports. We got to get that in here, and then we'll drop it off at at another person we know, Trevor, who's going to be our new fab guy, to do a transmission mount for it, and then we'll be sending it out to Gulf Coast drive shafts to get a new, probably either a carbon or a 4-inch aluminum drive shaft. But this thing will be ready to rip up some tires. Got a little damage to the window right now, but that's just a formality.
So he had trees getting cut down here in front of the house, and they kind of dropped something.
But the reason I'm trying to save this thing is because it's a really special model. This is like a 2014 Plus R-Spec. It came with a real nice interior. The seats are really hard to get your hands on, and if you do find them, they're usually really tore up. They're kind of like the Hyundai equivalent of like the Recaro seats from a Honda from back in the day. I don't know. This will be a definite eye catcher when we eventually get it done. It's just gonna take some time, man.
Yeah, I remember the whole issue with these taillights.
Oh yeah, I had to send them back to the, I think his name's Zach over at NTX Glow. I had to send them back to him like twice. The first time I got them, they were like falling apart, and the second time that I got them, the housings weren't sealed properly, and the paint was like bubbling on the inside. This was the third time, and they haven't really been on a car driving on the road, but they've held up to the heat in the garage pretty well. These things need a bath, though. They've been sitting in here collecting pollen for a minute.
Yeah.
I might just take these taillights and put them on this car.
Yeah, at least get them on the road.
Yeah, well, the biggest issue with them is like they don't work unless you get a 12-volt direct to the battery on them, and I don't like haphazardly wiring cars up just to make stuff work.
Yeah.
So when I eventually get around to it, it's gonna be like Optima battery in the trunk wired up directly to like a terminal block that feeds power to all the individual accessories. It's a lot of work, but it's definitely more worth it for the long run, especially if you want to avoid like electrical fires or just any issues trying to track down like a short to ground. My specialty is like electrical engineering, so I really want to go above and beyond to get these cars like set up the right way.
Yeah. So this was the one that we met with. So he just bought this car, and this is back when I had my, it's going to get a lot of hate, but the Hyundai Veloster. A few of you that have been following me for a long time remember that car. It had a one-of-one aero kit. The company went under, so you couldn't get your hands on it even if you wanted to. It was lowered wheels, tires, and the turbo blew due to a faulty oil reading, so we ended up putting a little too much oil in it.
Damn.
And you remember that whole fiasco.
Yeah, I still really like that car. I think it could have been salvageable, but I mean, like, the Mustang's cooler.
Yeah.
And it's more fun.
Way more fun. But we met because of that car. So I got my car. I met his girlfriend.
Yeah, we were just friends at the time, but...
Yeah, she found out that I had that car, and she complimented it and then said that she had a friend of hers at the time, which, you know, had just got a Genesis. So we met up, and then he was just kind of like, hey, I have some cash set aside. I need you to help me pick out some modifications for it. So he came over to my house, and we were there for probably like 2 hours on the computer just looking up different shit to buy. I mean, half those companies were kind of
real shady.
Shady.
One of them was just like, I ordered grill for the bumper, and it was just like a plastic mesh grill, like not even any car part. It was just like random raw plastic material, and it was like $250. But I've learned a lot since then. Definitely like leveled up on the game. No more cosmetics, mostly just performance.
Yeah, because these headlights took about a year
Yeah,
to
a
finally
year.
just get them and like be okay with just taking it as is. Um, he sent this car off to get the full engine build. Like, there's nothing in that engine that I think can be upgraded.
Yeah, the whole drivetrain is going to be able to sustain 1,000. It'll actually be the first Genesis in the world. I see. We don't know about Korea, how their market is or what their car scene looks like, but I mean, as far as I know, this will probably be the first one to hit 1,000 horsepower reliably. Because working on a plenum to be able to accept 6 more injectors for direct inject or for port injection on top of the direct injection. So that's a really only like bottleneck right now is fuel. Around like 550, you start to hit a limitation where you can't. You got to start using things like methanol or nitrous, and these engines don't handle that well. You really want to start hitting the boost in on like the high end power of the engine, because when you start trying to hit all that torque at the low end, you start to strain the engine really hard, and they don't handle it too well. The heads on these flow really nicely, so a lot of people are optimistic for the outcome. Kind of like the GM Atlas, man. A lot of people didn't think much of it when they first came out, but there's a lot of potential there if someone does a little bit of engineering. Same for this thing. I mean, Evo's their one up on this is the Evo is an iron block. The SRT4 is an iron block, but I mean like these things can handle some power. We're gonna throw some Darton sleeves in this and see if we can crank the boost up to like 35, 40 pounds and see how much power we can get out. The guy who built the engine, CSS, I think it was like Cylinder Support Systems.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
He warranties the block for like 600, but he told me personally that it could do like 700 to 800 horsepower on just the short block.
Yeah.
And then the heads were built out. I'm not sure by who, but with the supporting parts to be able to do like 8,500 RPMs redline. So maybe.
And then he's just slowly been picking up Genesis after Genesis over the years.
They're so cheap, man. You can't not get a car.
We have to show him at some point that FD Genesis chassis he picked up from New York.
In due time.
Yeah.
This
No.
one's a little bit crusty, but she runs great. She's just not connected all up with the new intercooler setup yet.
He's been running into issue after issue with this one.
Yeah, the biggest issue is the title. Right now, the kid who skipped out on the title that sold it to me, I finally just got in touch with him, and we're hopefully getting it sorted out this week. But it's mostly sat here because I can't register it, I can't insure it.
It's been sitting for a long time.
Someone told me I could probably like insure it and drive it, but I'd rather drive this one right here. This one was like as a backup to just. I built this out of completely extra parts. Like everything I just had left over, I built this car out of. I bought the shell for like $900. I reached out to the guy and we couldn't come up with a price on it. And then like a month later, he hit me up and he was like, "If you tow it out of here, you can just have it." And so I paid $900 to send a tow truck 2 hours out and bring it back here. And lo and behold, I now have a BK2 converted to BK1 Genesis. The ported intake, the stock location manifold, wastegate, like everything was just extra stuff that I had laying around. And I figured I might as well put it on a car rather than sell it for practically nothing on Facebook.
Yeah.
All these cars are pretty much like Facebook marketplace grabs. Like, I know the community dies because people lose the drive or like the funding to be able to keep these cars going, but I mean that's what keeps me going, dude. Finding a hot deal on Facebook Marketplace is an easy way to get me into a new project.
If you guys have noticed, the bumper sitting there is to an S550 Mustang. Now, he was strictly just a Genesis guy until I talked him into it going on a test drive in one over at the Ford dealership.
Yeah, that one.
because
It
he
changed
was,
my mind.
yeah, he was always talking a lot of crap about Mustangs. I'll never own one, and I said, just take a test drive. Just take a test drive. You're looking for a daily, and lo and behold, he bought this one. First day, took it on a test drive, came back, biggest smile on his face, and was like, I may have changed my mind. So
Yeah.
he's converted to a Mustang guy.
She's in rough shape right now, but the new parts will be here soon. I'm waiting for Roush to get back to me with the new radiator for the supercharger kit.
Yeah,
But-
so it was, what, like a week or two ago that this happened?
I think it was about like 2-3 weeks ago now at this point.
Is-
Someone like backed into me at a red light, and when we pulled over, it was like some really old lady, and so I just I don't really want to claim an accident on it. It's easy to fix. I don't want to damage the value of the car, so I'm just gonna go out of pocket for the expenses. It's not too bad. It just fucked up the radiator real bad for the supercharger and the AC condenser.
Yeah, no, she did screw up the bumper pretty bad. But
That
I
just
mean,
means GT350 bumper.
yeah.
I've been trying to keep my eye out for the fenders, the hood, the bumper, the headlights, and the carbon composite 2019 plus core support with the hood latches built in. That's going to be really cool. It's an expensive conversion, but I mean, with this supercharger and the fact that this thing is built from suspension to drivetrain, like, I think it's worthy.
For sure. You're like not someone like me with just a little eco.
I mean, dude, I would definitely like just do it to any chassis. I think it's cool. I think the 350R has like the best bumper spec. Like it's
Mhm.
perfectly wide. The thing I have an issue with about this is like the tuck is just ever so slightly like strange. It rubs a bit on the inner of the fender liner. And these are factory spec wheels. These are the PP2 wheels. And like I don't know, it definitely grips. It slides a lot more than I was expecting it to, but like I think it would be way better with a little bit of a wider fender and just a bit of a wider stance in the front.
Yeah.
Give better control. She's definitely a beauty. I need to take better care of her. This has been the workhorse for like 2 years straight. The tires are bald because I'd be going to Mexico and taking people on dates to Applebee's on the regular. Like, and these aren't even that old. There's only maybe like 10,000 miles on these tires. Damn, they're almost on the cords too. Maybe it's a good thing I'm not driving it anymore. But yeah, I would say this one and the black Genesis in the garage are like my two favorites. This one, I think it could be my favorite if everything starts working out the way it's supposed to. When I finally get all the mechanics like worked out perfectly, then we'll start working on the cosmetics. This is my sad attempt at trying to get the air conditioning working on this. I just realized like old school Haltech computers are not the move for trying to get AC working. Everything on this works, boost control, timing. And the only issue is that it overheats if it's too hot out, but like the AC just doesn't work. There's never been an update released for the compatibility function. I don't even think it's the right style of output to work with these compressors. So, gotta get in touch with Alpha Speed, I think is what they're called, Alpha Speed. Get one of those plug and play Alpha X ECUs. Supposedly it works off the bat, but I have no idea what platform they use for tuning. The only other option is like a link.
Right.
I don't know. We're still in the beginning stages, so one step at a time.
Yeah. So again, this is Natali. That is his car collection, other than the ones that are at the other house. So if you guys like or have any interest in wanting to dive more into one of these, then we could do more videos for that. But yeah.
Yeah.